The director's special squad of the Warriors Union had pierced Jephthah's chest and back with Mackie hooks, steel fishhooks with a cruel incurve the size of his thumb. They caught the glimmer of fresh daylight like armor across his chest. The steel snaffles and cable leaders hung to his knees like a kilt. The glitter of the hooks, as well as the smell of his blood, would attract the dasher that would kill him. Jephthah had caught thousands of Mackie on hooks like these, set tens of thousands of these Ganyans on hundreds of long lines. Most of them hung free now, clinking with his movements or the rare morning breeze. His weight hung from 24 of them, 12 puncturing the skin of his chest, and 12 through his back. He thought this had a significance too, but they had not told him what it was. But they had told him what he'd wanted to know for years. The shadows are real. Jephthah played the thought over and over. The shadows are real. Everyone had heard about these shadows, but no one he knew had ever met one. Now, in the last few months, had come the mysterious broadcasts on the holo or the telly or the radio made by Shadowbox. Everybody said those were the work of the shadows. There were stories in every village about their fight to depose the director, Raja Flattery, and hamstring his hired muscle. The nightly news reported daily on shadow activities, detoured supplies, food theft, sabotage. Anything unpopular or harmful to the director's cause was laid at the shadow's hatch, including natural disasters. Shadowbox, using pirated airspace and great expertise, reported on the director. Jephthah had whispered around many a hatchway trying to join up with the shadows, but no word came forward. Shadowbox had given him enough hope that he had set out to strike his own blow. He understood now that this was how the shadows worked. He'd wanted to destroy the seat of power itself, the main electrical station between the director's private compound and the sprawling manufacturing settlement adjacent to it, Calalok. The power station that Jephthah chose was a hydrogen retrieval plant that supplied hydrogen, oxygen, and electricity to all of the subcontractors in the director's space program. Blowing the plant would set Flattery's precious Project Voidship and his orbiting factory on its heels for a while. The poor of the town were used to doing without, Jephthah reasoned. Thousands didn't even have electricity. It would be this new Voidship project, and Flattery who would be most crippled. He should have known that the director's security had already thought of that. The interrogation had been very old-fashioned, as most of them were. He'd been caught easily and forced to stand naked under a hood for 3 days while being tortured for nothing. Now a host of steel snaffles clinked against hooks whenever any of his muscles moved. His wounds, for the most part, had stopped bleeding. That just made the flies sting him more. 2 poisonous flatwings crawled his left leg, fluttering their wings in some ritual dance. But neither bit. Dashers, he prayed. If it's anything, let it be dashers, and quick. That was what they'd hung him out there for. Dasher bait. The hooded dasher would strike him hard, as is their habit. Then it would get hung up on the Mackie hooks and snare itself. The hide would bring a pretty price in the village market. It was an amusement to the security guards, and he'd heard them planning to split the change they'd get for the hide. He didn't want to be nibbled to death. A dasher would accommodate him nicely. His mouth was so dry from thirst that his lips split every time he coughed. In this hungry downslide of his life, Jephthah had dared to hope for 2 things: to join up with the shadows, and to glimpse Her Holiness, Krista Galley. He had tried his best with the shadows. Here, chained to the rocks overlooking the director's compound, Jephthah watched the stirrings of the great household through his darkening vision. One of them might be her, he thought. He was lightheaded, and he puffed his chest against the hooks and thought.